Hello everybody and welcome to the CNET stage at CES 2017. Today, you're in for a treat. I'm Iyaz Akhtar and I'm joined by Roger Chang and Ben Fox-Rubin for a special supersized edition of our bite-sized news podcast at 3:59. If you're new to the show, Roger and Ben break down the most important tech stories in about 4 minutes. Today, we're going to talk a lot longer about the Consumer Electronics Show because that's where we are. Ben, you seem to have some kind of smart coffee cup or thermos. What is that over there?
Yes, it's quite delicious. It's filled with coffee. Yeah, this is the Lenovo Smart Assistant. It was announced a couple days ago, and this is essentially an Amazon Echo, but from Lenovo. It's got the Alexa Smart AI inside, and you're going to be able to do a lot of the same stuff that you would be able to do with an Echo, but this is provided by Lenovo.
I have to ask, why not just get the Echo?
So the pricing is a little bit different. This thing starts at $129, so the Echo starts at about $179 or $180, so they make the pricing a little bit different. Also, it's got a bit of an interesting, different look to it. It looks a little bit more like a Google Home down here, but on top of that, Amazon wants to do this and Lenovo wants to do this to try to sprinkle Alexa everywhere, like all over the place. So Lenovo was interested in bringing Alexa to more places, and Amazon was more than happy to do that. We've seen this at the show all over the place. Whirlpool did an integration with their appliances. Ford just announced that they're adding Alexa into their automotive stuff. Mattel, I think, did like a smart baby monitor that's going to help lull your kid to sleep.
So it's great that you're bringing this up. Actually, we have on our site a breakdown of all of the Alexa connected stuff. We've got the C by GE lamp, this weird circular lamp. You've got speakers. You've got robot vacuum cleaners. Dish is integrating Alexa into its remote control. Alexa is everywhere, and for the second year in a row, Amazon has really dominated the show without really having an official presence here, right?
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting to see how quickly this has actually happened. I mean, home automation is something that's been discussed and considered for the past couple of years now, but there really hasn't been this platform to really bring it all together. You know, like what was I supposed to do? Have like 20 different remotes around my house to operate the lights and this thing and that thing or whatever? It's voice, or at least it's been voice now, and Amazon is really taking advantage and saying, hey, look, we're going to do this, we're going to be the main platform, and that's how you have things like this, where Lenovo and a lot of these other guys are finding a way to get involved and get interested. One other thing that's interesting that Lenovo told me is that this is really just a first step for them. They're interested in doing a lot more integrations, bringing Amazon and Alexa technology into more of their stuff.
Let me ask you guys something. Why do you think Amazon's Alexa Assistant is the one that's actually getting all the traction? There's Google Home, there's Microsoft Cortana, and there's also people doing proprietary things like Samsung. They have their
there's also Siri.
Right, I forgot about Siri.
Don't forget about Siri. They're like the first ones.
We've all kind of forgotten about Siri.
Why do you think it's Amazon? Because the thing is, I believe they had something like 3,000 skills about 6 months ago. Now they're about 7,000 skills. That's the name for the little voice apps.
It's a comfy bandwagon to hop on. You've got millions of Echo Dots out there. It was, I believe, the #1 selling product on Amazon this holiday.
Oh my God, was it ever? They sold millions of them, including the Echo Dot speakers.
If I'm a company looking to hitch my product to a digital assistant, I'm going to go with the one that's got the biggest, broadest base. And right now, that is Alexa.
Sort of, right? I mean, like, a lot of people have iPhones.
You discount Siri
the
because
problem there is
Siri
that
doesn't work with a lot of these things.
Exactly.
Right?
So the problem there is that Siri hasn't had as many integrations, and maybe Apple will do that. There have obviously been rumors that Apple is planning to come out with something like this, but it's just rumors at this point. And at this point, what is it? The Google Home just came out a couple months ago. So I think there's still going to be a little bit more time before we end up seeing something that's going to be a platform as big as Alexa, if anybody actually even does catch up.
And we're definitely seeing some flexibility from Amazon, like letting a company like Lenovo essentially make an Echo clone. It's a smart speaker, runs Alexa, and it's cheaper. So they're not worried so much about moving the hardware. They're like, look, use our service. That's what they're doing. Apple, there's no way in heck they're going to do that.
So let me bring up my favorite Alexa integrated product, and that is the LG InstaView refrigerator.
Refrigerator.
It is.
Yeah, there's Alexa in the fridge.
It is awesome. You knock on it. You knock on the touch screen. It actually goes transparent, so you can see what's inside. You can ask it to order milk. You can buy directly from your refrigerator. It's pretty sweet.
And what's weird is this fridge runs WebOS, which is that really old. Remember WebOS from the
my
Palm
God,
days?
WebOS.
Yeah.
So LG bought it. It's in the fridge, but it also does have an Alexa assistant. You can ask it questions, and it's. Is that overkill, or is that cool, or is it?
Yes, it's overkill. I have an Echo speaker in my kitchen.
You don't need it now.
How much is that fridge?
Well, what, can
couple
your,
$1,000.
Can your Echo speaker keep your milk cold?
No,
there
no,
you
it
go.
can't.
There you
no,
go.
no,
That's
it
why.
cannot. All right, fine.
Look, so,
Checkmate on that one.
Speaking of which, I mean, LG, I thought, really wowed people with their press conference. Tons of great stuff. I think the most impressive product I've seen so far is the W television.
Oh wait, before we get to the WTV, I want to talk a little bit more about this fridge here.
All right.
Now we had Samsung last year was saying, hey, we have this family hub,
Right.
this giant touch screen and a fridge. It's going to run Android. This is what they actually told me. It's going to have Alexa, and then they backed off of both of those claims throughout the year. They bought Viv, that AI company that has ties to Siri, because I think the creators of Viv
Original
made Siri.
absolutely,
Siri, yeah.
And so they have their own thing. They lost Alexa to LG essentially, which I think is really kind of interesting because Samsung has their own thing now.
Yeah.
You have to say hi Samsung to its family hub.
They're
I don't
also
think- I
going to
d-
play catch up, though.
I don't think they lost Alexa. I think they probably made a conscious decision, right? Samsung really likes to work on their own proprietary stuff. They have Viv now, and I imagine that in future versions of this fridge, Family Hub fridge, you're going to see Viv or whatever they're going to call it. But you're right, it's totally a missed opportunity at this show, right? To like come in and LG comes out with an Alexa-powered fridge, and Samsung has nothing to show. So
Samsung didn't really wow many people with
no,
their
it
show.
was definitely more of a restrained show for them. But I guess you kind of had to,
It was
right?
very muted. They started off with a not an apology, an acknowledgement of the Galaxy Note 7 mess. if
Really?
you wanna
What
call
is
it
that? I've never heard of
Never
that
heard of the
phone.
Galaxy Note 7?
I'm
No.
kidding, I'm kidding.
It was a story was blowing up everywhere. You know, the story. It was a big
It
deal.
was a hot item for sure.
It was,
let's-
all right, just keep throwing the puns out there.
Let's talk about that W television you wanted to talk about, Roger.
No, that television it is 2.57 millimeters thick.
Right, inches, 0.15 inches.
Yes.
There you go.
It's like a couple coins stacked together, which
And
is
look, I feel like
amazing.
The videos, we have the video for it. It doesn't do it justice. You really have to be there in person to appreciate just how thin this thing is. Look at
Yeah,
that.
so now we're just staring at the actual video because we're so enamored with this. So the actual screen is 2.57 millimeters thin, like we were saying. And the way you really see this in the video to do any justice is you go around the corner and you see it kind of looks like it's a part of the wall because it's only about, it's less than 4 millimeters away from the actual
they
wall.
say the W kind of stands for wallpaper. The idea is this TV blends into your home, blends into the wall, gives it sort of a seamless experience. Pretty
just
awesome for
cool.
one percenters.
So we're like just salivating over this thing because it's probably the coolest thing that we've seen so
Why you
far.
come to CES
Yep.
to see stuff like this? That's just cool.
The 65-inch television weighs, 18 pounds.
Yep.
It doesn't require any studs behind it to mount it, so you can put it anywhere, which is nuts. But they do have a ribbon cable to get the television attached
Right.
to this big sound bar that has all the ports.
That's the question, right? Like, how do you connect all these power cords into this super thin computer or TV? And they've got this really thin, flat wire.
Okay, so how do we actually make it better? I would recommend you be able to roll it up, put it in your pocket, bring it to your friend's house.
I think
so
that's
let's
next.
have
I
LG
think
work
that's
on that.
next, yeah.
It
Well,
is. Foldable screens.
I'm sure they have been working on foldable screens, even screens this big. I think from a concept perspective, they're actually able to do it now.
I was only half kidding. Yes,
They're
we
gonna do
may
it, man.
actually end up seeing that.
Yeah, 2027 probably.
walking around with just like rolls of screens,
Those screens that you
OLED
just pick
screens.
up,
Yep.
put on the wall.
And this isn't a concept device, guys. That W is going to ship in March.
Right.
And LG hasn't gone with the price yet, although Katz was talking to them. Katzmeyer is their TV guru. And it turns out it might be $2,000 more than the most expensive thing that LG showed off last year. So the price we're
Holy.
looking at is potentially $10,000.
Yep.
And that's with the 65-inch version. If you want the bigger one, because there's a 77-inch version, that might cost something about $25,000.
Well, I hope
That's
we
not
get
official
it
yet.
in the New York office,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can at least get
Yeah,
a
I
look
know.
at it.
Oh, that'll be a fun time. We're going to just be like, get out of the way. I want to see it. I want to see
I
it.
will get no work done that day.
All right, Roger.
Nice to know.
Did you happen to see any Blackberries while we were out here?
Yes. Much to my surprise, in this surreal moment, found myself in a suite surrounded by Blackberry
You were just
products.
teleported there?
Yes,
right.
that's how I travel in Vegas. Isn't that how you guys all get around?
I'm working on that.
All right. So yes, BlackBerry is once again making another comeback. It defies all logic. It should be dead. It should have been dead several times over, yet it is back, courtesy of a company that you probably know for televisions, actually, TCL.
Yeah, TCL, they make those awesome Roku TVs, and actually,
Exactly.
as an aside, Roku's like on a lot more than just TCL. I know that I think Hisense has one, and
So are they making
Elements.
TVs? What are they doing
No,
now?
so TCL also has a phone unit. It's known as Alcatel. Most people don't really know what it is. It's really a budget phone maker. They really want to kind of break into the U.S. market with a better brand and They're using BlackBerry as the.
Did you get to actually hold the device in hand? How does it feel?
Yes.
Like it's called the BlackBerry Mercury. That's a code name,
That is
right?
the code name for them. They actually don't have an official code name. They just said that's what the internet's calling it, so that's what we're going to call it for now. I did get a chance to hold it. Build quality is great. It's metal phone. It's a full screen, full touch screen, and it's got it's got a keyboard, actual physical keyboard underneath.
Right.
Like the Passport, like the Priv, you could swipe through the keyboard and navigate with that. So it's a nice looking phone. It's pretty simple.
All
It's got a
right.
fingerprint sensor. You know.
How confident are you that this is going to bring BlackBerry back? Or are we going to be back here next year talking about BlackBerry's other comeback?
Not at all. Not. I mean,
All right.
look.
Let's just get that out
These
there.
guys have a huge challenge. TCL or Alcatel. They have a history of taking very little known brands and kind of propping them back up. Alcatel has actually done really well on the budget phone market, but this is a different beast, right? BlackBerry has so much baggage involved that it's really hard to see anyone picking up these phones again. They say they're going to go after business customers first.
Because they still have security down. That's one of the biggest.
So
pushes
they're
with
going after
BlackBerry.
banks, they're going after the government customers. A lot of folks who still
Arguably,
use
that's
BlackBerry.
been their core audience already.
Right.
How are they actually going to do that any differently? So
I think
I'm
they're
skeptical.
gonna put more resources behind. At least from what they're telling me, there will be more resources, more effort put. The last year or two, BlackBerry kind of checked out when it came to the phone business, right? They were really focused on transforming themselves into a software and security business. And on the hardware side, they're like, yeah, we still have that, but
What do you think TCL's part is in this thing? Because why would they bother to get in bed with BlackBerry other than the fact they just need the money? But why would they bother to be with this? They could be making their own. They're ready to do Alcatel. Why would they bother with BlackBerry at all?
Well, if you look at it, no one knows what Alcatel is. No one knows what TCL is. People at least know what BlackBerry is. It's a brand. Awareness is not an issue.
I think
might not
be easier to build TCL than to go, hey, remember BlackBerry, and have remember berries for that.
Well, look, this is the same company that also bought the Palm brand. They've done nothing with it, but they did buy it 2 years ago at CES.
Who bought it?
TCL.
Oh my gosh, I
didn't
forgot.
know that
They
either.
didn't do anything with it. That's why you don't know anything about it.
Because the heart of Palm was WebOS, and LG took it, and then Palm is like, hey, remember Palm?
It's just the name. So if you actually go to the URL, it doesn't even exist.
Maybe TCL is just really nostalgic. The head of TCL is just like, you know what? I really like that. I'm going to buy one of those.
Kodak.
Basically, TCL is a baby boomer.
Maybe they just wanted to buy a BlackBerry.
Right.
And they're like, fine, we'll get in bed with them. So this is an aluminum phone. It's supposed to have a good keyboard.
Yeah,
it's
got the
February.
BlackBerry keyboard. We're expecting an announcement or at least more information come Mobile World Congress in February, and I don't know when it'll actually ship, but they promised that they'll have sort of a portfolio or a lineup of products. So it'll be high end, it'll be a low end version, to sort of meet everyone's needs. But again, it's really for business customers. You're not going to see this in stores for a while, if ever. It'll be sold directly through like an AT&T or Verizon.
I bet that when you went to the BlackBerry thing, that they didn't have barf bags available.
No.
Ben, though, you were at
Here's
the
my
Intel.
next prop.
Hang on, you were at the Intel keynote, and I believe
And
they
here
put
it
you in
is.
leather comfy chairs,
Here,
a
I'll
VR
move it.
headset,
This
and then
is not
they offered
related.
they offered you a barf bag, or
That's
at least
right.
to all the attendants. You got to explain what this
Yeah,
is
they
about.
very delicately handed us barf bags. We walked in. This was a totally different kind of press conference than I'd been before. You had these big, comfy black leather chairs, and in front of them, you had this high-powered laptop with an Oculus Rift VR headset on top. And they very delicately, the people walking around very delicately, handed out certain materials, and right underneath was a barf bag. And they told you a couple of times ahead of time, they were like, we're going to do a bunch of different VR demonstrations, and if at any point you feel queasy or nauseous, take the headset off immediately. Do not try to stand up. And by the way, we've got these just in case.
Did anyone use the barf bag?
I don't think anybody used the barf bag because I think the whole room would have howled if that ended up happening. So we're looking at video right now of we were transported to rural Vietnam. What was particularly interesting about this video was that while you're in VR, you could actually like stand up and kind of look around what you were actually looking at. So it wasn't so much a static 360 image, but you could kind of look over or look around different things, which requires this enormous amount of computing power because you're not just doing one 360 video, you're doing multiple 360 videos depending on where your head is. So people literally just started standing up and looking around, and just to kind of get an impression of what it was like, and it was kind of surreal to do that. I tried it out myself too.
So
and
what VR
it was
headsets
kind of
were
cool.
these? Were these? This wasn't Intel's own Project Alloy. This
No.
was
This
Oculus.
was they were using Oculus Rifts for the specific demo, but they also showed off their own concept called Project Alloy, which is a cordless, all-in-one VR headset, and they're hoping to come out with that with manufacturing partners maybe sometime next year, I
They were
would
claiming
say.
end of year. They were productizing it. That's the word
I don't
they
know
used
what
for it.
productize means.
That means
So,
they're
but
just
they
like
said
giving
that they
you-
would productize by the end of the year.
Well,
so
that's not a word, is it?
Look
If I was
out.
playing-
Really
if I was,
a word,
if I was playing
no.
Scrabble, it wouldn't count.
No.
Right. No, it will now. When Intel CEO said it, it means it's a word now. So
It's actually a trademark. They've already coined the term. So.
right. But what's interesting about Project Alloy, it's supposed to enable this new idea called merged reality, where you take different things like, let's say we've got the desk over here and the column over there. You go and you put on the Project Alloy headset and it integrates all the things in the real world into a gaming environment or some other environment where, let's say we're in like an alien shooter game, we can actually hunker down behind this desk, get up and like start shooting the aliens in the audience or something.
How is that different from HoloLens, which offers mixed reality? That's their term,
Very
right?
similar,
Yeah.
very similar, and you're absolutely right. Those terms, they're kind of interchangeable in
Right,
many ways.
right.
So, but yeah, it was an interesting press
Yeah,
conference.
what I understood from what I saw, at least I watched the video, you were there, but the difference between merged reality, Intel's version, versus Microsoft's augmented reality, mixed reality. Microsoft, you can still see what's actually around you,
yeah.
versus Intel, what they would do, like Ben was explaining, that it would take the physical objects in the room and just mask them essentially, so it would have the same height. So you're not running into this table when
Right.
you're going to go around shooting aliens. It'll change a coffee
Which I feel
table to
like
something
is-
else as
is
well.
The big down point for being in a VR system is whenever you're in the headset, you're constantly aware of all the obstacles around you. Like you're just sort of tentatively moving around. You're like, am I going to run into someone? Am I going to fall? Am I going to trip?
Right.
I was doing that last night. Well, at the Power Rangers VR
Okay, wait,
experience.
we got a whole sidetrack here. Power Rangers, what now? You got to be a Power Ranger yesterday?
I wasn't a Power Ranger, but I got to fly the Zord, the dinosaur T-Rex Zord for about
You were the
15
Red
seconds.
Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power
I
Rangers.
was the Red Ranger, but from the movies. So he's all amped up.
You're more emo
He's
that day?
definitely emo with a little bit more.
What did you do? What was in the?
I basically was in the cockpit of the Zord. He kind of you hear the Red Ranger talk about how powerful and awesome it is, and then it flies up, and then when you think something cool's about to happen, it ends.
Please tell me, was there anybody else in that experience that was more amped than you? Because you're just like, yeah, it's a Red Ranger, I'm a Power Ranger, it's really powerful.
You know what?
I
Actually,
was in the Zord.
Bryan
whatever
Cranston,
that is.
Bryan Cranston was there as Zordon, and he seemed actually less enthusiastic about it than I did. So
Ouch. In person, or like, was he a virtual
it was his
representative?
head. It was like Zordon's head, but it was really just Bryan Cranston's face.
That's good.
Weird. It was
Not
weird.
like Walter White telling you that you have powers. Wonderful. So I just kind of got thrown off by the Power Ranger thing, because I'm just
Yeah,
like,
sure.
that sounds crazy. But yeah, I don't
But
think...
actually the same deal with the position tracking. Like I was actually able to move around, and this was a wireless headset. I was able to get up, move around, duck. I found myself actually like 10 feet away from the Power Rangers, and I could actually walk closer to them. So it was actually a pretty cool experience.
So the first time I tried out a VR headset, I was in a little apartment on a chair. I turned my head to see something else, and bonk, I hit the wall. So I do like the idea of Intel actually saying, hey, by the way, don't turn into that, because I was wearing one of those daydream
Right.
views.
Well, it's an interesting idea of like, the merged and mixed reality, like what exactly is going to come next with VR and AR, and how are we going to integrate? I've heard this said so many times by different tech executives that the digital and the physical are merging together, and these are a continuation of that. So we're going to see more of this as we move forward.
And the last thing I liked about the Intel one is that you could actually see other players at the same time, so you're not just by yourself. I really,
That's nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
The
less
isolation is-
isolating. Yeah, that's
That social
definitely a good
aspect
point.
is really key.
We're going to have a lot more tomorrow, aren't we, guys?
Absolutely.
I hope so.
So I think that's going to wrap it up for us. You can find the 359 on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and of course, CNET.com.
Of
For the
course.
For the 359 podcast, I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
I'm Roger Chang.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Thanks for watching.